Hey everybody, this is Tiffany. I am a speech language pathologist and a person who stutters. And a lot of my videos, if you've seen them before, are related to stuttering mostly, and then also some of them are related to speech pathology and kind of what it's like to be a speech therapist who stutters. One of the things I'm talking about today is a reaction that I had from a parent of a kid who doesn't stutter, but I have been working with this kid for like a year and a half, and they didn't know I stutter because I hide my stuttering a lot, and I am what's called a covert person who stutters. So I have these tips and tricks that I use to like hide my stuttering. And they're not great. They make me feel like garbage, feel inauthentic, and they're a lot of work. And they also are harmful for my voice. I have some other videos about it if you're interested. But it's something I'm trying to work on, but it's still hard for me. And so I hadn't told a lot of the families that I work with, and I hadn't really stuttered in front of them. And this mom was no exception. So when I was talking to her a couple of days ago, I stuttered, and it was pretty noticeable. And so I made it a point to stop and tell her, "Hey, I'm a person who stutters. I don't know if you knew that, but that's kind of what that was." And she was like really cool about it and like really okay with it. We had this long conversation about it, and she seemed just really great. But then at the end of our interaction, she was kind of commenting on this idea that I brought up, that I was really afraid to tell parents that I stutter because I've had parents of the kids I work with not want to work with me because I stutter, because they're afraid and ignorant, but they're just afraid that I'll give their kid a stutter, or that I shouldn't, be giving them speech therapy because I don't have my speech figured out, or it's not perfect. And so that has been really hard for me. And so it's something I carry with me, and I worry about happening again. And it's kind of why I hadn't told a lot of my parents. And so she was saying, "Oh, I just can't believe people would have a problem with that because, you don't stutter very much. If you stuttered a lot, like on every sentence, that would be different. I don't know that I would feel comfortable having you work with my child. But you don't stutter that much, so it's no big deal." And that's a comment that I personally get a lot because I stutter covertly, so I hide my stutter, like I mentioned earlier, but I also stutter pretty severely. And so if I let it out, which I don't really ever let all of my true stuttering out. You've seen some of my videos in the past of me like reading and stuff. That's like the full thing. And it's just really hard to talk. And people think very negatively about it. And so I have a hard time letting it out and not hiding it because of those reasons. And so when I do stutter in front of these families, I tend to not stutter very much. And so that's kind of where that comment came from, and comes from many other people, is like when I tell them, when I disclose it or advertise my stuttering, I like stutter once or twice a conversation. It's not very frequent. But then it just makes it really hard for me to not hide my stuttering when they make comments like that, because if I were to openly stutter in front of them, I would stutter way more than once a sentence. I mean, like that mom saying that was a lot of stuttering. I can't imagine what she would think of me if she heard me really stutter. Because a lot of times I stutter on almost every word, or like 75% of the words. Um, and so that's, I don't know. So now I have a really hard time with her and working with her child, because here, this was a huge moment that I told her I stutter, and it felt like a big burden was lifted off of me, that now I can stutter in front of her. But I feel like I can't. Like, I can stutter a little bit, but I can't stutter for real. And I mean, this is just a recurring theme, I think, in my life, and I'm sure many other people, that stuttering is okay, but you can't stutter too much. So it's okay if you stutter just a little bit, and it's cute, and it's like just here and there, and it's easy, and it's light, and you don't have any like tension or secondaries or any other, it's not uncomfortable for the listener. That stuttering is okay, but anything above that isn't. And that's just, maybe that's how I feel, definitely. But it's also something that's been kind of reinforced in many experiences I've had. Um, so it's just hard. I don't know. I had a really hard time dealing with that. So I would love to hear your guys' comments and feedback, or if you stutter, if you had, if you had experiences like that, or not. I'd love to hear your feedback, because it's hard. I mean, what I'm going to do with this parent specifically is just stutter and show her that stuttering every sentence isn't that much, and that you can communicate effectively and be a good speech therapist and stutter a lot. And so I'm scared, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm afraid that they're not gonna want to work with me, or they'll feel uncomfortable, or they'll tell my bosses all this. But like, she and many other people are just ignorant. And so hopefully, seeing me communicating well and stuttering will change her mind. So I'll keep you guys posted to see if that's true, or if it blows up in my face and I don't work with this kid anymore or something. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But stay tuned, I guess. Anyway, so that's all for now, you guys. Thanks for watching, and following me. If you haven't, subscribe to my channel, like my videos, comment, watch other videos, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.